Great way to kind of think about how we need to give ourselves grace when we're setting those, and also grace to pivot. Though, as you were talking, it did make me think about a conversation I had with a client this week. And he said, we had a great year last year, amazing year. And that was great for lots of reasons. Sometimes it's because of pricing increases and all those other sorts of things. He said, but now there's going to be the expectation that we do even better next year. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. So it's almost like, we may not be suffering from Jimmy Big League, but there may be a board of directors or senior executives or shareholders or someone else that says, all right, you did great this year. Let's see how high you can go. And that can be a challenge. I don't know if you have any advice for us there, but that's a tricky one when someone else is in charge of setting the goal.
Yeah, that's a systemic challenge, right? It's more than about the individual. It's about more than just the individual leader. I'm a big believer that you get what you measure. So if you only measure a certain kind of growth, you may get it, but it's also going to cost you some things. I would say if you look at a lot of the ethical failures that we've had over the years in businesses, and in particular, I helped edit a book called Ethical Leadership, a primer. And in that book, one of the things we looked at was the Wells Fargo collapse that happened, was it 2015, 2016? A lot of that came out. They had this wonderful statement about their mission and their commitment to their customers and their core values. All that stuff was just beautiful. And even I think, like 2012, Forbes had called them the business that works. All this praise. But what happened was they were only measuring a certain kind of growth, the sale of the Great Eight. And they weren't measuring any of these other things about how they were getting there, some of the other behaviors that were going on in the workplace. And this is not to throw Wells Fargo under the bus, because this is such an easy trap for our organizations to get into.
Right.
So what I would say is, to the extent you can start talking about, okay, what are we really measuring here? How do we determine success holistically? That can be really fruitful. And I'll also admit, it takes a lot of work, and it's going to take a board that's concerned about more than just short-term gains.
Yeah.
And I think that those shortcuts and concerns for short-term gains are often the things that get us into whether toxic leadership situations or toxic workplace situations.
Yeah, absolutely.